Oh, dude. Nice. All right, Steam, new alpha. What do we got here? Palworld. Okay, hey, 30 bucks. Hey, you know what? Looks interesting. Capture some creatures. Survival game, build stuff. All right, I'm in for it. Let's get it. Dude, please don't tell me you just bought that trash Pokemon clone. Please tell me you did not just do that. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a Pokemon clone. It's more of just a survival game with some heavy inspiration from Pokemon, since, you know, you get to capture creatures, but there's no gym battling. It's more built on base building, raiding dungeons, collecting loot, that kind of stuff. I don't really see it. Extra, read all about it. Pokemon Suits Palworld. Yes, let's go, Daddy Nintendo. Huh, seriously? Huh, let me take a look at it. See, told you, man. Complete ripoff. Yeah, this just says they're looking into all the inquiries that they received. I mean, this is Pokemon. They are known to get rid of anything that uses their property at all. I mean, heck, they got rid of the Pokemon theme mod in this game in less than 24 hours. Yet this game's been in development for like almost 3 years in Japan. Like, it's being made in Japan and Pokemon's made in Japan. So wouldn't they have done something already? Personally, I don't think anything's gonna happen just based off of this little note that they sent out. I mean, taking influence is really not copying something. People take influence from stuff all the time. Yeah, well, it's still a scummy game. I mean, they used AI to make the creatures instead of actual artists. I mean, who do they think they are? Yeah, there's actually been no proof of AI being used. Most are quoting the head director of this game, where he said that AI could be helpful for game development, which on some level, it's actually true. Of course, there's always gonna be balance and everything, but overall, that's just a quote that he made. That's not proof that they used AI. Plus, so many companies, and heck, even Steam themselves, will flag AI and everything, or they will say, yes, this was used with AI right there. They tell us. I obviously know people don't always trust companies, but at least do somewhat. Yeah, well, they still use stolen assets. Ha! Check that tweet. You mean this tweet right here that already had the original creator of that post say that it's actually not true, exactly, quote for quote right there, and that he just doesn't like Palworld because of the animal cruelty. Well, whatever that means, I guess, because these are fictional creatures. But yeah, no, that's already wasn't true to begin with, I guess. So, anything else? Yeah, well, it's still a crappy game. Huh. All right. So if it wasn't obvious by the introduction, we are, of course, talking about Palworld, the big super phenomenon in only January of 2024. Like, we still have 11 months in the year, and it's only January right now. I mean, going from a game that we thought would never release because of the trailer and just the concept itself, to actually releasing, to selling millions of copies on Steam. We don't have any actual numbers for Xbox because that's all over on Game Pass and everything. To huge controversies and just debates and everyone's emotions through the roof on social media and everything. It has been an exhausting week. I swear I cannot go 2 minutes on social media or anywhere where I have to log online that I don't see something about Palworld. And that is, yes, actually including in Japan, where Pokemon is from, because of course everyone is comparing to Pokemon. I mean, it's got the nickname Pokemon with guns, which, funny enough, if you actually play the game, you can't actually equip guns to your creatures, essentially the pals in this game, until you like reach level 20, and that's a decent amount of time spent playing the game. It's like 10 plus hours until you can actually do something like that. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation, especially if you were only online for like a day, like when this all started, and then you never came back, like you're off. And if you happen to be watching this video, then awesome, welcome to the channel. But maybe someone like that is not watching this video because they jumped offline. But regardless, there's been a lot of updated information when it comes to a lot of things that people said, and then it turns out that these were true or they were not true. There are clips and videos of what people have stated on this particular matter. Is it ethical? Is it not? Is it blatant ripoff? Is it just trying to take inspiration from something? There's a lot of stuff to go over because everyone's gonna obviously have their own opinions on this. And I'm not trying to change your opinion or anything. If you love this game, more power to you. If you absolutely despise this game, more power to you. You are allowed to feel that stuff. But again, I want to kind of break down everything that is currently known as of January 25th, 2024. And I'm sure by the time I'm done recording this video, hand it over to my editor, he and I go through the things and we get it all done. We post this video online. You're currently watching right now. I'm sure 5 more things have been added, 2 things have been debunked, and sales numbers have probably gone up. So without further ado, let's just get into all of this stuff right now. Okay, so let's talk about just some actual numbers right now when it comes to Palworld, okay? As of this day, like when I'm recording this video, so according to the tweet, it's about 12 hours ago by the time I'm finally recording this video because I had to go to work. This game alone on Steam, again, that's not including the Xbox Game Pass players because they pay into a subscription. They're not buying the game on Xbox or anything. It has sold 8 million copies in 6 days, which is absolutely crazy for a game made by this small of a team, and just the numbers that's pulling in. And not to mention the fact that over on Xbox, there was a moment, it was not terribly long, but it wasn't like a split second or anything like that. There was a moment where more people were playing this game than they are playing Fortnite. Yeah, you know that super popular game that's been going on for almost 10 years now? Yeah, that game. So that's particularly crazy right there. Not to mention the fact that if you go look at the Steam numbers, because that's where a lot of people, that's where everyone's buying it for one thing, if you're not playing on Xbox. But if you go over to Steam charts and you check out the numbers and everything, like top concurrent, like most players at one point is already over like 2 million people playing this game. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. Like developers and publishers would probably kill to get some numbers like that for their particular games. And this game hasn't even been out for a week and it's reaching those numbers. Oh, and by the way, after all of this started and everything, we already started seeing tweets from PlayStation and some of the heads over there. They are currently trying to get this game now onto PlayStation. For those of you wondering why it's not on PlayStation, it's not because Xbox bought the exclusivity or anything like that. It's simply because PlayStation doesn't put alpha builds of games on their console. That's why generally you only see alphas on PC, right? Especially because when it comes to updating alphas on PC, you can just do it snap. You've got a next build that you want to put an update out. Great. You simply upload it to Steam. Boom, you're done. PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo, you have to go through a process to make sure that the update's not going to like break the console, destroy something, overheat it, yada yada, that kind of stuff. So that's why it generally takes longer. But Xbox does allow alphas right now in this current generation to have, you know, those type of games on there. So that's why it's on there right now. But anyway, so Sony's looking to do that. But hey, it worked out for Xbox. So Xbox, great catch right there for the beginning of the year. Awesome. That's kind of where we are right now. And then as of this day right here, to kind of finish up the kind of new stuff, I guess, is they actually created an early access roadmap right here that you see on screen that they're going to start like focusing on for right now. There's no like given dates exactly, but this is kind of like what they're focusing on right now. The obvious things they're going to touch on is, you know, critical issues, bugs, glitches, that kind of normal stuff right there. But it also shows that they are trying to plan out some PvP stuff, raid bosses. So that's kind of like end game stuff right there. PvP for the pals. So I'm guessing the normal PvP would be just be, you know, your character with guns and things like that. And then the PvP for the pals that you catch themselves. No idea how they're going to do that. Crossplay right now between Xbox and Steam. I'm assuming PlayStation if it does end up on there later down the road, whether it's in the final build of the game or if they do somehow get the early access on there. That'll also be between there, which is always cool to see. But as of right now, PC can have 32 players in a server, which I believe is local server. It's not via their own servers and then everyone just goes into there. I guess it's based off your local servers. If you've ever played PvP games, you know what I'm talking about. Xbox, as of right now, I believe you can have up to 4 players on a server. So, and I've heard this game is definitely better when it comes to playing with friends. I personally have not been able to buy it because, well, this week's just been super crazy. My seniors are graduating soon, so I'm in like crunch mode and trying to grade papers and get everything done before they're about to graduate now. So I haven't really had any time to play video games or anything like that. So I do plan to check this game out eventually. But I just wanted to kind of talk about this because, again, you can't go more than 2 minutes being on social media without seeing all this stuff when it comes to this game. Anyway, that's all the current news as of this moment when it comes to just the game itself. We still have to cover everything else from the outside right now because, oh my gosh, like I said before, Emotions are everywhere right now. People are loving this, people are hating this, and if you can think of some form of an emotion in a human being, somebody has used it in combination with their thoughts on this game. Heck, it's even sparked more AI fear, and it's taken it to the next level to some degree, because as of right now, January 25th, 2024, there is no proof that AI is used in this game, yet so many people, especially at the beginning, were claiming that AI was used for this, and then now it's like, where's the proof? There's no proof that you used AI. The closest thing that people are trying to use right now is that they're saying that the head developer or the leader of this group essentially has stated and quoted that he thinks AI could be good for developing games, and he thinks it'd be something to look into and everything, which I know everyone right now, especially in 2024 and the end of 2023, people hate hearing the word AI, even though technically we've used it for quite a while. You would say, like, you know, the AI of the CPU characters in a game, how they act and everything like that. You know, whether it's, you know, they're the dum-dums or are they actually really smart and hearing you and you have to be more silent in particular games that you play and everything like that. But when this particular AI, it's about making something and, you know, technically maybe making something easier, but where you don't have to hire voice actors or artists or things like that, right? We've seen it with something like the finals, where AI was used with consent from the actual voice actors that particular team hired, and they did real voice acting, but then some of the lines and everything were then used with AI and everything, which is weird because that company is, even though it's a small company, it's from former DICE people who are, you know, combined to have like billions of dollars in this particular company that they've made and everything. So it was weird in that particular game right there, definitely 100%. And you want to stand against that more power to you, absolutely right there. But then you're seeing people talk about it in a more literal sense when it comes to how the general consumer looks at this, because if you don't know, for those of you who watch YouTube videos or following gaming news, whether it's on social media, YouTube, TikTok, you name it, we are a small minority when it comes to the general gamers out there. People who, whether you're playing on your phone, on a console, on PC, doesn't matter. There are so many people who do not look at social media. They don't watch YouTube videos, nothing. They see a game on, you know, the For You page or anything like that. That is what they go towards. And there's a clip that's kind of infamous right now from Asmongold talking about the whole AI and artists and all that stuff. I will talk about that later near the end of the video, because I know that is, oh man, again, you thought emotions were bad for Palworld itself. Oh man, that just takes it through the stratosphere right there. So I will briefly mention that at the end, because again, I'm just trying to cover everything that's being talked about right now. Then you had other tweets like this that you're seeing on screen, where there are debates about, are they just simply copying Pokemon assets, or did they even steal these assets somehow and then they just copy them? Because you have to admit that there are a lot of the creatures in this game that do have some similarities to Pokemon, right? I mean, some people are really taking it far where they got like, okay, we got a wing snippet of this particular Pokemon, and we've got a snippet of this dude's hair on this Pokemon, and it just so happens to match ever so carefully right here into this particular creature in Palworlds. And then there's obviously ones that look very similar, and they don't have to do that. It's just like, I think it's like Luxray, I believe, is the Pokemon. I'm not up on my Pokemon knowledge when it comes to some of the newer Pokemon, or, you know, I think he might be Gen 5 or Gen 6. I'm not 100% sure, so don't shoot me, Pokemon fans. I'm just talking about, you know, what I see on screen and everything like. But regardless, so there's heavy inspiration, and I guess you have to, you know, come to your own conclusion when it comes to, is this a line of just simply you're inspired by Pokemon and you want to make creatures that look very similar to them, or is this too close and everything? Because one of the other things that come out of this is people thinking that the Pokemon company would come down with ban hammers and lawsuits and the whole 9 yards. And this is Pokemon. They have been known to do this super fast when someone tries to recreate something in Unreal Engine 5, or heck, there's a mod in this game, or there was a mod in this game, where someone just brought in Pokemon assets. They brought in Ash from the Pokemon anime, and they brought in like the original 151 Pokemon, and they, you know, basically covered over the current pals in this game. And within like less than a day, Pokemon sent cease and desist and the whole 9 yards. It's gone. It's not in the game anymore. Like, we can't even show you in this video right now because we would get struck right away. So we're not going to do that, right? But the thing is that this game has been in development for almost 3 years. And by the way, the team making this game are here in Japan. They're based here in Japan. And where is Pokemon based? Where is the main Pokemon headquarters? Oh yeah, right there on the map in Japan too. So it's not like they're trying to fight some legal battle internationally or anything like that. It's literally in the same country, and nothing's been done yet. Because honestly, the more I look at it, yeah, I think they're probably towing the line, right? They're like, they're on that line, but they're not copying the Pokemon or anything. There's a lot of them that look distinctive, and you know what? In the end, the gameplay is actually very different. Pokemon, you capture Pokemon, you battle in gyms, you battle online, you know, all that stuff. That's what Pokemon's all about, right? This game, it's more about capturing the creatures, and then you get to work. It's a survival game at its core DNA, right? And that's why a lot of people like it. Some people don't, and that's perfectly fine. I might play it and just be like, hey, you know, I've never really been into the survival game stuff, so I might play it, and unless I'm playing with a friend, I'm gonna be like, this game really not for me, right? So you've got those aspects, you've got the dungeons, you've got the raid stuff that they're trying to bring in. They're trying to bring in PvP and all that kind of stuff. Playing with friends, I hear, is like the best way to play this game. So that's another feature that's very different from Pokemon. And you know what? There are a lot of people, especially if you're within like my age group, because I'm 32 currently right now. I know, boomer comments, all that stuff right now. But anyone who grew up around kind of the same time I did, so that's kind of like early 90s, heck, even maybe earlier than me or a little bit later, but we grew up with Pokemon, right? And we have wanted more for Pokemon. Stop. I'm gonna stop you right there, because I've seen some people take comments or a post online where someone's like, you know, hey, you know, I really would like to see Pokemon evolve and everything like that. Everyone's like, no, you don't change Pokemon. You keep Pokemon the same way. I'm not talking about turning Pokemon into a survival game or shooter or anything like that. But a lot of people would love to see Pokemon evolve in terms of whether it's graphics not being glitchy, you know, bringing in more modern features that you see in other games, right? Whether that's in the menus or how you interact with things or anything like that, right? It would be nice to do that. But as you know, Pokemon has been, I would say, pretty stale for, I'd say, probably the last 10 years. My favorite Pokemon in the game in the last 10 years, funny enough, is something that did branch away from the mainline games, and that's Legends of Arceus. I love that game. Now, it is glitchy, it's got terrible performance, you know, it's running on 10-year-old hardware at this point. Don't even get me started on the whole Nintendo and hardware and graphics versus gameplay and all that stuff. That thing has been talked about to death at this point. But it was something new and, you know, still using the Pokemon formula, but in a new, unique way, which was awesome. And this game kind of takes some inspirations from that in terms of like the open world, but again, doing a lot more. I mean, you capture these creatures, yes, and you can fly around and ride some of them, but you have to like really level yourself up. But you have to build a base, you've got to collect materials, you have the creatures with you to do battle, or heck, you literally put them to work essentially. So you can do that. You can go off and fight bosses with your teammates if you want to, or heck, fight other players technically, and especially if there's going to be a PvP mode eventually. So there's a lot more in this game than there is with Pokemon. That's just the facts right there, right? And I think a lot of, I want to say hardcore, I'm not talking about just, you know, people who like Pokemon or anything, or like this particular type of thing, or whatever it is, right? I think a lot of hardcore people, you know, like down to that 0.01% type of people, they don't like either seeing things that are popular, and it's kind of in their nature, I guess, to just hate things that are popular, or they hate that something is taking away attention from Pokemon and people are bashing it or anything like that, right? And I get it. Most of 99% of people is truly bashing things or, you know, insulting and all that. So I know that's like the small people, right? Not small people, but the small like percent of people, I should say. Whereas, you know, a lot of people, again, if you're not a hardcore Pokemon fan, you're like, I would like to see some of this stuff in Palworld in Pokemon in terms of like, you know, better performance, you know, to play it on PC, which I know Pokemon will never leave the Nintendo console. I know that 100%. But again, just the upgrading graphics or better stability and all that kind of stuff, right? It would be nice to see some of that, or just take some chances and try new things that are not just simply gimmick things like, you know, Mega Evolutions or Gigantamax. Was it Gigantamax? I believe was the next one after that. I'm just saying, Mega Evolutions is still the best one. You know, things like that. I think people would love to see things, but unfortunately, Nintendo/Pokemon companies just don't do that, and that's a combination of having to deal with the anime schedule and them having to put a game out every year and people still buying it and it sells millions. And I think that right there, actually, that's something that Palworld has in common with Pokemon, where this game is being bought by a lot of people, and Pokemon was this too, especially the last two games, even though it had terrible performance across the board, buggy as hell, and it got ridiculed online. But it didn't matter because everyone still bought the game, and it sold like 12 million copies within a week or something like that. And Palworld's kind of the same thing, where it's like the general public are going to buy something if it's fun, regardless if it potentially is using something like AI or anything like that, right? Or it's, you know, it's similar to something in some aspects, aka capturing the creatures, right? If you have a fun game mechanics in this survival mode where you can capture creatures, which, by the way, the concept of these creatures or capturing things, that's not original to Pokemon. I'm pretty sure Pokemon got that from Dragon Quest way back in the days. And I'm sure if you went way back even further than that, they got it from some book or something like that, right? So unless Pokemon's going to come out here and be like, no, anything that has to do with capturing creatures, we claim that, I don't see a judge really working well with that. Just saying. And just after all of the whole claims of copying Pokemon assets and stealing them and everything, that has officially been debunked now. Like the person who said, you know, they made this video that's now deleted and everything, there's quotes and pictures of people that screenshot it and everything saying like, yeah, so I just don't like animal cruelty and I shouldn't have used the words exact. It just looks similar, essentially. I'm really backpedaling on that. Again, it's the internet. I get it. I 100% do. But then you even have some things like head former legal bosses from Pokemon saying that it looks like a ripoff nonsense. And yeah, to some it does. It absolutely does. People are still playing it. What's going to happen from here? I don't know. It's weird because I mean, I know we had that, you know, statement from the Pokemon company, which was just released today. But I don't think they can do anything because unless there is proof found that they stole assets or something like that, they could have come after this game all 3 years because it's been public knowledge, but they didn't. And now that it's making millions of dollars, you know, people are saying like, Pokemon, go after him, go after him. It's just like, they went after the mod, but game's still going fine. It's still just fine. And I think it's probably going to stay that way, especially because you have Xbox and PlayStation that are like, we see this, unless there is something that goes on that a judge and all that kind of stuff can happen. I think it's going to be fine. It will stay up and all of that. And then again, like we briefly mentioned beforehand near the beginning of this all these main talking points right here, is about the use of things like AI. There's absolutely no proof that AI has been used in this game as of right now. If something comes out later, obviously that changes. But as of right now, there's no actual proof. It's just the statements that you've heard from the main guy who runs this whole thing, where he said that AI would be cool to see how it can help with game development. And I hate to break it to some people, but in terms of game development, I'm not talking about art or voices or anything like that. I'm talking about just making the games, right? AI in some form right now, it's in its alpha state right now. Call it pre-alpha, call it whatever you want, but in some state in the future, it will be used in some state. And I think because AI is so new right now, you know, they're going to be trying to make laws and, you know, there's going to be strikes and everything, and people with, you know, workers' rights and all that kind of stuff. They're going to try and make it so that obviously this can't overtake that or anything. But an example of AI being used probably early on right now that I can probably think of, I could be wrong on this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but something like AI could be used in voice acting, not to replace voice actors, but if you've noticed over the last couple of years, especially trying to have multiple languages with the lip sync when it comes to certain characters, that takes a lot of programming to make sure it works in every language, right? Like take something like Final Fantasy 16, right? Made here in Japan and everything. The main cutscenes are for the English audio. You play it in Japanese, and it is so clear that there is no lip sync when it comes to, you know, them speaking in Japanese or anything like that, right? So I could easily see something where AI is used for that. In fact, I think I could be wrong, that It was used for helping with the lip sync of Final Fantasy VII Remake in terms of the Japanese lip sync compared to the English or something like that. I could be completely wrong on that, or maybe it was Final Fantasy 16 or something, or maybe it's something being used for Rebirth. I will try to put something on the screen or talk to my editor and everything, but if I'm wrong, then we'll make a disclaimer down below and all that kind of stuff. But I could see, even if it's not, I could see something like that in the future where AI could be used to help with that process, right? Because eventually, you know, the hope is that, you know, you make something unique and you do everything that you normally would to make a game, and then the AI could help kind of maybe either fill in the gaps or do the repetitive stuff that the developers wouldn't need to do or that they don't like doing, and then they can go in and like tweak things and make things the way that they actually need to and everything like that. In terms of like art and voice acting and everything, I know that's a whole other ballpark right there. Obviously with voice acting, I don't want that to take anyone's jobs or anything like that, and for artists and everything. But then that gets into the whole Hasman Gold clip, and oh boy, people, oh man, I swear that is like split right there. But to some extent, and please don't kill me in the comments, to some extent, he's not wrong in terms of how the general public will look at this, because it's been going on for years, right? How many of us own a piece of clothing made in a different country, right? How many of us have used something or watched something made somewhere else or anything like that, right? And so if it sells or it's fun, aka like this game, people are gonna buy it regardless of what it potentially mimics or looks like or it takes some inspiration from. If it's fun, they're gonna play it, or if it looks good, they're gonna buy it. That's just, in capitalism, that's just a fact right there, okay? I'm really not trying to get political or anything like that. That's facts right there. So, and obviously not every company and, you know, is perfect or anything, that everyone's got some baggage and that kind of stuff right there. So again, I don't want AI in the future to overtake artists or overtake voice actors and everything, because they can do some really, truly amazing stuff and everything. I don't want to like replace my editors or anything with AI. That'd be stupid. That's silly. I mean, I edit myself. I don't want that to be replaced or anything like that. But there will be a world eventually in the future where AI is used to either help with certain things, and to an extent that can be helpful. It's just that obviously the big thing that people will point to is that CEOs and big companies and everything are going to use it as a scapegoat to not pay people and to have shortcuts. That's been going on for generations. That goes on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It's just the way things are. I don't know what's gonna be happening next. Like I said, some big updates could easily happen right then and there as this video is coming out. But regardless, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments when it comes to Palworld. Again, we could continue to talk about this for hours. We could have a huge podcast about it, live stream, you name it. But I want to know your personal thoughts down below. Do you agree with everything that's been going on with this game? Have you been enjoying it? Have you not been enjoying it? Is it not really for you? Again, it's okay to, you know, say, yeah, this game's fine, but I personally don't like it, right? Like I said, when I try this game out, I might not like it after a couple hours just because I'm not huge into the whole survival genre, which is what this game is mostly known for and everything. So it's hard to say, but let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you want to check out more videos, or you like these kind of discussions and everything, then check out the pinned comment or check out the top right corner. We got tons of discussion videos talking about everything from Suicide Squad game that's gonna be coming out soon. We have guides on a ton of videos and everything. Again, we did that shameless plug with Prince of Persia and everything like that. But check out our guides if you've been playing that game, because that game is absolutely awesome. Go play Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It's an amazing game. Go play it right now. Just gotta say that. Thank you so much for joining me in the video. Hope you have a great day and a great week. Again, let's just have a comment down below. Let's keep it civilized, and let's see where everyone stands. So anyway, I've been Tallen again with Direct Gaming. Until next time, everyone, Johnny.